Hey everybody, it's me. So I was having some moments of clarity and thinking about my day, like reminiscing about like what's been going on in my life lately. And I just wanted to share this with you because I had this moment where I know that people think that we live in everyone gets a trophy society. But I think there is a time and place for accolades. And I think that there's a time and a place where, you know what, we all deserve a trophy, just for showing up, just for showing up. And I feel like right now, energetically on the planet, it's like, I'm proud of you guys just for my hair is wet, just for showing up, just for being here. It is huge what's happening on the planet right now. I am watching so many different things happen. Yesterday I had an amazing day, just like hours chock full of light work and sharing of experiences and stories of one, a beautiful childhood friend of mine that is so dear, like a sister to me, for real. We call each other twin because we were definitely twins in another life. We just have this thing. It's really kind of cool. That I don't really share with anyone else. Edward, maybe. And then my other sister in arms that I have this feeling we were definitely related in another life, in Scotland. Actually, we had a cool breakthrough yesterday. And actually, there's a lot of us in this tribe that we knew each other before in different lifetimes, whether it was in Egypt or Atlantis or Scotland or New Orleans. I can go on and on. There's many people I've had really cool past lives with, or if I wasn't alive, I was definitely like their guardian angel. I was there looking out for them in some way, in some capacity, deeply connected. But I just want to say thank you for being here and thank you for showing up. It's not easy. So do your best every day. Like right now, I'm like, I took a shower. Like I had the coolest day, by the way. I was sitting here feeling guilty, programming, right? Guilty because I was going to sit down and watch something for a little while because I was really tired. And I was like, well, my gosh, it's only the middle of the day. And then I thought, I've been up since 7:30 and I have been going nonstop. I even stacked wood for my landlord today. Like I was like, that was like a cool experience. And I gave myself the whole week to get to the pile because it was massive. It's she gets different loads a year, and this was like her big one that she's, starting to stack up for fall. And it was just this really cool moment. And I thought, I made money from a reading yesterday, and I got to play, with horses and cats. And what else did I do today? Like I said, I took a shower. Oh, I had a great meditation. Excuse me. And I thought to myself, man, I'm like, I've had a lot of cool things happen to me today. And then it was almost like this dark energy. There's this energy that keeps coming for me, and it's like it feels like I keep getting rid of it, but I'm inviting it back, right? Obviously, I'm inviting it back, and that's okay. But it was giving me this like dark, like, you're not good enough, like you need to do more, you're not working hard enough. And I was like, I've been working my fucking ass off. I'm like, are you kidding me? Um, but I just want you to be gentle with yourself, because that is like the best advice that we can give one another right now, is to just be gentle. The only little like, hard bit of truth that I'm going to get real with you guys about is I had this moment maybe 2 weeks ago, maybe, where I was like, gosh, I just like felt like I was smoking weed like nonstop, like from the time I got up to the time I went to bed. Not like pulling bongs or anything. I have my little one hitter, but like my medicine, right? Like taking like little, uh, I wouldn't say dabs because it's not a dab, but like a dab of it, but not like a dab, if you know what I'm talking about, in weed. Um, but I got this download from spirit that was like, no, like there is like some major shit going on right now. And my energy, I'm trying so hard to stay in this like light, positive energy, but I also am embracing and loving my dark and my shadow and working on with all of it. Right. And so it's interesting how when I went to the dispensary, I had one of the guys that works there. Oh, it was a moth. Did you see that? I thought something fell on me, but it was a moth. Oh, I love moths. They're like so precious. Look up moth spirit animal. They're really, really, really witchy, very magical creatures. Um, where was I? Oh, anyway, so at the dispensary, one of my favorite shamans there, we I said, I've got $30. Give me grams, whatever you can give me for $30, plus tip, because I always want to make sure I tip them. And that's the cool thing I always tell them, because then they give me like a really good deal. And I'm like, well, I got 30. So if it's 25, they get to keep 5. And, and so long story short, we ended up, he's like, I think, these are good, blah, blah, blah. And then I look at them, and I was using my pendulum. I wasn't really looking at the names. And then I look across the board, and I've got Laughing Buddha, White Buffalo, and Panda Hut. And I'm like, are you kidding me? Right? Like, I mean, there's a whole wall of it. And so that was really powerful. And lately I've been getting these downloads really strong in the last week, where Spirit was like, it's okay. It's okay. I know, we understand. You're not going to be doing this forever. You're not going to be smoking weed like this forever. You're uncomfortable. And I'm like, I am. It's like the higher I am, the more comfortable I feel. And it's almost getting to the point where the energy here like hurts my skin. Everything kind of like, I have to work almost like extra hard, just because I'm super sensitive. And I've been getting like these things for protection and to take care of myself. And I'm like, okay, I'm going to get real about it. So do what you have to do in that capacity. Okay. But just do it in a way that's healthy, meaning, I only smoke cannabis that's, has no pesticides. It has no chemicals. It wasn't treated with any chemicals. It wasn't grown, where people were abused or whatever. I use ethical, like things like that. And I always use my pendulum when I'm choosing, even though they, everyone at my dispensary is amazing pretty much for the most part. And they're pretty good at picking stuff for me, but they know, and they'll be like, oh, there she goes with her pendulum, right? I know a lot of people in this town think I'm crazy, and some people are like, oh, it's the pendulum lady. But if you really feel like if you have to have a drink, or you have to have a cigarette, or you have to have some type of comfort food, the only thing I really urge you to do is please do it with the intention of healing through it, working through it, trying to find out what the root of it is. I've been working with a lot lately with food for myself in that capacity, and the scarcity mentality around it. Like my parents, my dad was in the middle of 8 kids. My mom was the oldest of 6. And, there were many times where if I didn't want to eat, my dad would put me on a timer, and he'd be like, eat all your food. And I'm like, I don't want to, or I don't like that. And he's like, you need to eat it. And it was all mommy dearest, so I was, me, of course I was me, so I would sit at that table abstinent, and I was just like, I'm not eating it. And the lights would be off around there'd be like one little light in the kitchen. And then finally, usually my mom, like at 10 o'clock after my dad would pass out, because a lot of times he was drunk, my mom would be like, you can go to bed, and I was like, okay, mommy dearest, I'll go to bed now, but that was some crazy ass shit. And just the programming around food was so crazy. It was like, eat, we don't have enough food, don't eat too much, it was just like always this kind of like, and then when my parents got divorced when I was 12, my mom used food and the TV as a babysitter for me. So, it was like, and bribed me, because she didn't want to get in trouble, because my sister and my dad called on my mom a few times, when she DCFS, like, because she'd leave me alone for a few days at a time. And because I was such an old soul, it's like, I feel like my family forgot I was 9 years old, or they forgot I was 10, 12 years old. And it's really hard to raise yourself when you're 12 years old, when you're 13, when you're 14. And just my relationship with food was very weird. And also that the food that I had, a lot of my comfort foods were, the guilt from my parents. So it was like Doritos and macaroni and cheese and hot dogs and fun foods for me at that time, instead of, like a home cooked meal and all that. Because even though there was a lot of abuse in my house, the way that I was raised, until my parents divorced, my mom still cooked and my dad still cooked. So yes, we did, like pizza and hot dogs, just like any other, typical American family in the 70s and the 80s. But at the same time, my parents cooked a lot, and we didn't let anything go to waste. And if we, had a chicken, we used the whole chicken, we ate the meat, and then what was left, the carcass would go into water to be boiled down for soup. And my parents canned, and we we grew our own food, and we had a whole huge pantry of just canned food. And it was really cool, actually. So, food has just always been such an interesting, odd thing to me. But I also love it. It's pleasure, it's comfort. It makes me feel better. Like I'm like getting emotional right now, just like thinking about it makes me feel better. And food's been my friend many times, and alcohol is my friend, and weed is my friend. And they're just energies, right? They're just different things that like help us feel better about ourselves, about our situation, about our circumstance. So don't be hard on yourself. This is a really emotional week right now. Today is the 4th. We're just coming off this really powerful full moon in Aquarius. They're all powerful now, I mean, at this point. But also I feel like it was like the first full moon after like we've had that breath of like the eclipses and the retrogrades, and like, Mercury went back direct, mid-July, and then, Leo season came in on the 22nd with fire, and just a lot. And then also like we just spoke about, and if you get a chance, go and check out the August Lionsgate, whatever, Panda Tribe new episodes, downloads from Spirit, really amazing. I also did a fun musical reading. And yeah, it's just like there's just all this emotion. But anyway, I found out that July 26th is actually the planet's like new year. So it's just there's just a lot going on. And now the Lionsgate portal is impending. It's in 4 days. I mean, that's in less than 4 days, really, if you look at it like, today's already midday on Tuesday. But that's a lot going on right now. So and not to mention what's happening like with the election and I mean, it's just so much. So don't try and be poly perfect, because right now no fucking thing exists like that. Nothing. And if people are all like, I'm good, I'm like, then I'm concerned about you, because you should not should. I don't want to shit on anybody, but this is the time. This is a gift. We can look at this as a gift, or we can look at it as a curse. And I personally have decided to look at it as a gift. And I have aligned my life to be able to be in a place right now where, my overhead's not super high, and I can focus on myself and still, make money, doing light work and things like that. But I know for some of you, it's time. A lot of things are happening. It feels like Rome's crumbling around you. It's like, well, it is. It is crumbling around you. The whole world is changing and shifting, and we are in the fifth dimension. Like the earth has shifted. The planet has shifted. There is nothing that I'm talking about right now that most of us don't feel. Maybe you don't completely understand it, and it's personal. People have been unfollowing me. I'm like, please do. Like I've always said, like if this doesn't resonate with you, if I'm not your person, like go find your right person. But also check out my readings on the YouTube channel. The link's up above here. Actually, I'm gonna put this on my YouTube too, because it's just so much that's overwhelming right now. So it's like, if you need to have things that aren't so good for you, then at least try and eat, drink, smoke, whatever it is that's natural, that has no pesticides, no chemicals. Get off the medications. The medications are another form of control. There are so many things on this earth. Everything that we need is provided on this earth. Everything. Now, people are like, well, medication, it was from this earth. It's like, yes. And then it was brought into a lab and it was made into something else. So, it's like, I remember when, back in the 70s and the 80s, and cocaine had really like burst out, and the first time I tried cocaine, I just remember being like, holy shit. I was like 15. I was at this party with a bunch of older people. This chick used to cut my hair. And long story short, no, that's not true. Basically, the first time I did cocaine, I could tell it was real, and I was fine. And then that was the second time I did it. And how I knew the difference was I had nosebleeds, and I'm like, there's something in here. I'm like, this is cut with something. I was 15 and I knew. I was like, this is not, and they're like, what do you mean? I'm like, because the person I got the cocaine from was one of my friends who was really rich. And the source was like, you know what I mean? Like the rich kids, they don't put up with that shit. They have the money to buy the good shit. But anyway, so long story short, I started to realize they were cutting shit. So like right now, things are just cut with shit. I mean, just try your best, to get food from a local farmer. Find out like what kind of stuff they're using. But for your food, the things you're putting on your body, in your body, all of that stuff, make sure your water is filtered, or filtering your water. I don't want to go more than 15 minutes. But you see where I'm going with this. You know, like my one friend, she's like still smoking. I'm like, listen, I'm like, get organic, you know, tobacco, get organic papers, roll your own. It's a different experience. Make it ceremonial, you know, even with your food. And if you can't afford to get certain foods, then you pray on it and you bless it and you say, thank you for your sacrifice. And thank you, Spirit, for taking away all of these toxins and things that aren't good for my body. Okay. So I'm running out of time. Anyway, you hear what I'm saying? Everybody deserves a trophy sometimes. In this situation, we all do. Do your best. That's all you can do. I love you. Blessed be. Aho. Bye.